Okay, have you ever wondered why sometimes your message lands perfectly and other times it's just a total miss? It's almost like you're speaking two entirely different languages. Today, we're diving into this explainer to unpack the actual mechanics of how we share information. We're going to look at exactly what happens when we try to pass an idea from one brain straight into another.
Now look at this. It's actually a pretty startling reality that the literal words you say, they make up only a tiny 7% of your communication. 7%. Meanwhile, 38% of our everyday communication relies entirely on vocal elements, things like your pitch and tone. And then there's this massive 55% chunk, that is all body language. It really puts into perspective how much we're broadcasting when we aren't even speaking, doesn't it?
To help you become a much more intentional communicator, we're going to break this explainer down into 5 clear steps: the core of communication, the power of words, nonverbal cues, visual communication, and finally, choosing the right medium.
So let's start with part 1, the core of communication and building that foundation. There's this brilliant quote by the poet William Butler Yeats that just hits the nail on the head. He said, "Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people." Because honestly, having a complex genius thought is only half the battle, right? If you can't translate that thought into a language your audience instantly grasps, well, the communication just fails. Our ultimate goal here is making sure our message is simple, clear, and perfectly understood by whoever is on the receiving end.
So at its core, communication is really a 3-part linear process. First up, you have transmitting. Imagine a manager giving a rundown to an employee. They're transmitting a message about a new project. Second comes listening, where the employee actually absorbs and understands those instructions. But, and this is crucial, it doesn't end there. The third step is feedback. This is where the receiver responds, maybe confirming they got the deadline. If any single one of these links is broken, the whole shebang falls apart.
Moving right along to part 2, verbal communication and the true power of words.
The absolutely crucial point to grasp here is this concept of paralanguage. It's not just what you say, but how you say it. We're talking about using rhythm, tone, and pitch to convey your true feelings, whether that's wild enthusiasm or biting sarcasm. Think about it. You could say the exact same sentence, but a loud, fast delivery might communicate sheer panic, while a soft, measured tone conveys calm authority. Your voice is essentially an instrument, and these elements are exactly how you play it.
But verbal communication is totally a double-edged sword. On the plus side, speaking directly with someone builds immediate interpersonal relationships. It encourages teamwork, and it gets you that prompt feedback we were just talking about. But the flip side, the disadvantages are very real. A mismatched pace, inappropriate word choices, or even just a misunderstood accent can so easily cause massive miscommunication. Getting it right actually requires a lot of active effort.
Let's dive into part 3, nonverbal cues, or what happens beyond the spoken word.
Even when you're doing all the talking, how you present yourself visually absolutely matters. If you're maintaining eye contact and using plenty of vocal variations, you're keeping your audience hooked. But if you just stand there like a statue and speak in this flat, robotic monotone, they're going to tune out instantly, no matter how fascinating your actual words might be.
And this extends right into our physical presence, too. These silent cues, they are incredibly powerful. Take personal space, for instance. Adjusting your distance depending on whether a relationship is formal or informal instantly builds trust. Or consider posture. It speaks absolute volumes. A simple drooping of the shoulders immediately broadcasts sadness or exhaustion, and you didn't even have to say a single word. We are constantly broadcasting our state of mind to everyone around us. Just look at how using appropriate hand movements, or even just offering a genuine smile, conveys total approachability long before we even hear what a person sounds like. Something as tiny as a slight tilt of your head can show the other person, hey, I'm attentive, I'm engaged. Your body is literally always adding context to your conversation. Okay, on to part 4, visual communication, where seeing truly is believing.
So visuals are incredibly fast for the human mind to process. I mean lightning fast. That's exactly why universal signs, like speed limits or basic icons, are so incredibly effective at enhancing comprehension. You don't have to pull over and read a full paragraph to know you can't make a left turn, right? That red circle with a slash communicates the rule instantly, bypassing all the noise and speaking directly to your brain.
Now, if you're ever designing a presentation yourself, you absolutely must avoid visual clutter. You do this by keeping significant negative space and strictly refusing to overwhelm your audience with, say, 5 graphs if just one will do the trick. This is a real game changer for anyone who builds slide decks. Use colors sparingly, just to highlight the really important info, make absolutely sure your fonts are legible, and let that negative space give your ideas the room they need to breathe.
Finally, let's wrap up with part 5, choosing the medium and finding the right channel for your message.
When it comes down to your tactical options, context is literally everything. For instance, you don't want to use an email if you need a permanent record of some really complex instructions because it gives you clarity and precision. But you should definitely opt for face-to-face or a video call when you need that immediate personal connection, mostly so you can read those crucial nonverbal cues we talked about. And what if you need to tell an entire factory about a sudden schedule change? Well, notices and posters are going to be your best bet to capture everyone's attention all at once.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to help you analyze your own silent megaphone today. Ask yourself, what is your body language saying right now, at this exact moment? Are your shoulders relaxed? Are you leaning forward? Remember, over half of your message, 55%, is entirely physical. If you can take control of that, you'll be well on your way to mastering the true mechanics of communication. So, what message are you broadcasting today?